Hi, my name is Dee Ramos and this is the fourth video of 6. These videos are designed to help you replace a paper sign in and sign out visitor form at your office with Power Apps and Power Automate. So this is the fourth video, and in this video we are going to be focusing on the sign out screen of our Power App. So let's get into it. Okay, so here we are going to collapse the two screens we have already created. We'll click New Screen and we're going to add a blank screen here. We'll rename this blank screen to Sign Out Screen. And next we're going to add our background image. So on the right here. And now our logo is on our screen. Next we're going to click on Insert and we're going to add a vertical gallery to our app. We're going to connect our gallery to our shared point list. And there we have it. We are now going to drag this gallery down and resize it a little bit. All right, so over here on the right, we're going to change the layout to title only. And as you notice, the gallery is cleared out. So to make sure we can see the name, we're going to expand gallery and click on the title. And here we're going to change this from this item.title to visitor log, which is the column in our SharePoint list that holds the name of our visitor. Next, we're going to click on Insert and we're going to add a label. We're going to place this label to the right of our gallery. Let's resize this. And here, all right, I like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change this text of the label to say, name of the person, are you ready to sign out? Right? We're going to center the text. And now we are going to change the font from 13 to 40. And I also want to put the name along the top alone. So let's click enter and then let's do, are you ready to, and then we'll do enter again to sign out on the bottom. I also want to change the background color. Instead of white, let's add this lighter blush color. And let's move this around to center it a bit. Now I'm going to click on insert and add a button. We're going to change the text of this button to say sign out. Let's change the color. We're going to use the same color we used on all the other buttons within our app. Let's change the hover color as well. I have an X here, so let's see what's going on. What did I miss? I am missing the parenthesis. Okay, so now the error is gone. Everything's looking good. So I'm going to click play, and now you can see what it looks like. Ideally, what's going to happen is that when we pick a name on the gallery, instead of it saying name, it'll say, for example, Emily Brown. The same like if I picked Ben Garcia, that would change as well. So to do that, let's click on the label and let's expand. Immediately after the letter E, I'm going to add quotations here, and everything before that quotation I just added, I'm going to clear out. And now I'm going to point it to the gallery, and I'm going to say the gallery1.selected visitor log. And I'm going to add an ampersand here. So now you can see that Tina is selected, and it said Tina. Now it says Emily and Ben. So it changes as I select the name on the gallery. Let's exit this gallery. And now I'm going to insert a text input. And this is going to function as a search for our gallery. So if this gallery gets very long, the visitor can just type in their name and the gallery should filter to find their name. So here it defaults, we're going to clear that out. And we're going to use the hint text of search name or select name below. I'm going to resize this gallery. I don't like it so close to the edge there. Better. So if I click play and I type in Emily, Nothing happens to my gallery currently because they're not connected. So we need to add a way to connect these two together, and I also want to sort this gallery alphabetically. So let's expand our items. Let's clear out items and let's add an if statement. So if the text input dot text is blank, we'll close that parenthesis and add a comma. Let's sort by the column and I want to filter the SharePoint list, which is the demo visitor log. I'll add a comma. And let's add the is blank for the sign out time as well. So there's no reason for us to have names on this gallery if they have already signed out. So let's make sure that signed out is blank. And we're going to filter by the visitor log. And we're going to sort in the ascending order. So we'll close that parenthesis and add a comma. And now I'm going to add another filter. So next we're going to filter the demo visitor log by the text input dot text in the visitor log column. I'm going to add an ampersand, two of them, and then is blank, and we'll make sure we add that sign out time is blank still on our list. And let's add a parenthesis and another parenthesis. So what we're saying is that if the text input is blank, sort in ascending order. If it's not blank, filter the gallery by the visitor log column. So let's collapse this formula now, and we're going to preview our app. So here if I type in Emily, you can see Emily is filtered. If I type in Garcia, it filters our gallery and the names are in alphabetical order, and I can still select the names as well. And our names are displayed in the label. I do have this caution alert next to our gallery. Let's not worry about that right now. We will get that addressed. So ideally what's going to happen is that when the user selects their name and they click sign out, it's going to timestamp the moment that the person clicks sign out and update the SharePoint list with that exact time. So to do that, we need to add a Power Automate flow to the app. So here on the left, we'll click Power Automate, and we're going to create your flow. Now I'll click Create from Blank. And the first thing I'm going to do is to rename the flow to Demo Sign Out Flow. Now I'm going to expand the trigger, and I need to add two items. So I'm going to add an input of a number, and that's going to be the ID. I need to add another input for text, and that's going to be the visitor name. So we're going to get those two items from the app, and now we're going to click Next Step, and we're going to search for and update an item in SharePoint. Now I need to fill in the required fields here. So site address will be the address where the SharePoint list lives. We will fill in the list name, so demo visitor log, and the ID, we're going to use dynamic content to get it from the app, and the visitor log will put the name, the visitor name. Next we have the sign in time, we're going to clear that. And then sign out time, we are going to use an expression, and we're going to use UTC now, and open and close parenthesis, and OK. So our flow is now ready, so we'll click Save. And now you see our flow on the left here. So let's go back to the tree view and let's add this flow to trigger when the button is clicked. So we're going to select the button and find the On Select properties. Let's put in our flow name, so demo sign out flow dot run, and we need to put in the 2 items I identified. So the ID, and the ID is going to be the gallery 1 dot selected dot ID. That's the ID number, and then we're going to add a comma, and we're going to do the visitor name. So gallery 1 dot selected dot visitor log. And now we'll close the parenthesis. Now if we go to the SharePoint list, you see that there's no timestamp. Here if I select Emily and click sign out, and I go back to the SharePoint list and I refresh, there is now a timestamp for Emily. So a few things I would have preferred here. So when we click sign out, I would have appreciated a notification. So let's add a semicolon and add that notify. We're going to do the text of successfully signed out. And this is going to be a successful notification. We'll close that parenthesis, and then we'll add a semicolon and back. So let's take us back to the home screen. I also need to format the sign out button from the home screen. So let's click on sign out, and let's update the on select property. The first thing I want to do is I want to refresh our SharePoint list. So we'll do refresh, open parenthesis, and demo visitor log. And I'll close the parenthesis. That just makes sure that we're getting the most up-to-date information. The semicolon, and now I want it to navigate to the sign out screen and close parenthesis. So let's collapse the formula and click the preview button. Now if I click sign out, Emily is no longer on our list because it was refreshed. And I can type in a name here, Garcia, and select his name. And if I click sign out, there's our notification saying we've successfully signed out. If I refresh our SharePoint list, there is a timestamp for Ben Garcia as well. If I click sign out again, it takes us back to the form, and I'm seeing a few mistakes here. So the label where it says, are you ready to sign out, doesn't have a name, and Garcia is still in the input. So let's start with the label. And I want to make this label false for visible if no name is selected. So under visible, we're going to clear out the word true, and I'm going to add an exclamation point, and then is blank. And we're going to do gallery dot selected and close parenthesis. So if the gallery does not have anything selected, do not show the label. So if I click Jane and Penny, we can see the label. So that's working great. And if I go back to the home screen and click on the on-select formula, let's add the reset. We'll open the parenthesis, and we're going to reset the text input 1 and close the parenthesis and add our semicolon. So let's save our app, collapse the formula, and preview. So now if I click sign out, we have Frank Anderson selected, and we can see our label. I can pick Penny and sign Penny out. It takes us back to the home screen. I can click sign out, and no one is selected, therefore I don't see the label. So that's looking really good. Let's go to the SharePoint list and refresh. And now we're down to 3 names. We've signed out 3, I believe. Yep, we've signed out 3 people. And we've got 3 people on our list. So it is filtering out the list when you are signed out. Now let's add a back button. So I'm going to go to the sign in screen and copy the back button and go to our sign out screen and right click and paste the button. And that's going to take us back to the home screen just in case I accidentally click on that. Great. That's working as intended. So let's sign out Jane. I'll go back to the SharePoint list, refresh, and now Jane also has a timestamp. And now our gallery only has 2 names. Next is going to be a video to send out reminders. If for some reason one of our visitors signs in and forgets to sign out, we're going to add a flow that is going to run potentially once a day, maybe when no one is going to be expected at the office, so maybe like 2 o'clock in the morning. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's going to check who is still on our list, who does not have a sign out time, and send a notice to someone to get that updated. So stick around. I've got 2 more videos for you.